Alright, coming into this match, we'll be watching Starbreakers versus Dragonslayers 2. It's a stacks on stacks big fish start on Atlas's lab.
Yeah, there's some connection issues in the first time around, but luckily it looks like we're going to this game without any more problems. And to start, which is like the Awakenings, we've got two people on Dragonslayers opting for the big fish, Twisty and Striker Kai. Wait, hold on, Striker Kai?
Oh, Striker Kai is a big fish.
Alright. Stacks on Stacks is looking weak this patch. If I'm correct, it got nerfed alongside Big Fish, but that's not the problem. We're trying to swim today.
The rate of accumulation is what got nerfed. You stack it slower. Maybe Kai is just too slow with it, or maybe he just prefers the size in a game like this. We'll have to see how it pays off. You often for Magpie Souls too, unlike most Kai players in my experience.
Most Kai players. Yeah, I was like everyone else, like they're going max normal, but those Kai players. But I will say the Big Fish is certainly popular, especially in the first set, where nobody really has any stacks built up yet. I mean, the size is just getting a lot more value than the speed, it seems like right now. And no, Starbreakers are kind of struggling to get it off their side. I mean, to be fair, getting it past the size Kazan character, a little difficult at times, especially when he's got hookup. But like they're able to try their own offense with Striker Kai in the net, mighty low, but one strike barrage might just be able to put it in. Ooh. But Jay, with a mighty good glitch swap, is actually able to find it, or not glitch swap, secondary, and things are actually looking pretty bad for the side of Dragonslayers, with Dave having his flip up and Jay, a one good TP from either of them to put the core right in, just looking for a mix, and Dave looking for to get through with a secondary, but Luke is just not letting them get a position with strike shot, and Jay's forced to pop the flip to get it through, but they just can't find anything.
Yeah, because of the stacks on stacks start here, Starbreaker's taking more of it. The longer this point goes on, the better it is for their chances of the set entirely. Unless, oh, there's a clean pass to Twisty, an open shot, getting past Dave's Vice ult. But because of the difference in how many people took stacks and stacks, Starbreakers, even though they lost the point, might not even be too concerned with the fact that that happened because they have the speed coming in for the rest of the set.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very big power spike going from not stack like 140 stacks to 150 is huge because it takes all your stacks, it just doubles the amount of speed it gives. And Jay's 150 stacks is coming up right now, and it's pretty close for Dave as well. And while Zentaro might be behind on the stack count, I mean, that guy's got so many hits that it's just gonna magically appear eventually. But it's like super scary in the net of the Starbreakers, and Twisty's able to put it in with a big primary, a big fish primary even to secure the goal.
A notably big primary, yeah. Very scary offense, kind of not wanting to play it towards Striker Kai, who's covering all that space, so they have to play it for the out clear into Twisty. Good coverage from the side of Dragonbreakers too. And it looks like both of the forwards of Dragonbreakers got their infamous one tricks, their best characters. And that, I think, arose because of Starbreaker's era ban. They didn't want to let the era through in a lobby like this.
Yeah, it's kind of scared to let the era through, possibly into the stacks. Just kind of scared. I will say, I mean, stacks were meant to be era goalie. Pretty disturbing, but a huge kill coming from. I don't know if it was Luke that walked into the middle or if it was Logan. And Loki might have been Logan. A little bit of lag coming out from him still, despite the restart the first game. But now in the power play, it's just too hard to deal with the Striker Kai. Even without stacks, this Kai character, just a little fast, is able to secure the goal with a strong strike in the middle and a Gigalast to secure it.
That's right, they're playing and finding a lot of these open spaces on the net for these shots because Vice is only really able to reliably cover it when she has her primary. And because she's spending it so much, either for possession or for those exact saves, the side of Dragonbreakers is getting way more chances for those exact open shots. It's how they've scored every single time.
Yeah, for sure.
And Kazan is coming in with another size awakening. Fight or Flight has to be denied from Kai, which is maybe a little uncomfortable for Starbreakers because it's their goalie taking it. So the draft is looking pretty strongly in favor of Dragonbreakers 2 here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, double-sized Kazan, a little disturbing. Getting around this Kazan hitter, especially when you opted for an offensive goalie like Vice. The Kazan maybe was crack the Vice open like an egg. Before like an egg. And I mean, honestly, it's like good passes coming around, but they just can't go to anywhere where Kazan is anymore. But a beautiful angle coming out from Luke. Gotta respect going for the sad boys when, you know, you still got another berry up. I mean, just letting it rip on the fly.
Yeah, that's when you can go for it safely. If it fails, it's like, oh well, you just lost your first barrier. And that was a lot of damage coming in comboing from the Starbreakers, and barely doesn't stagger to get the kill on Striker Kai. However, I will say that those kind of combos are less valuable on a midfielder who hasn't taken stacks and stacks. Twisty just sitting on the ball for as long as is necessary, finally getting that reaction check on Dave. And a lost Strike War, a one Strike War for Striker Kai, proves fatal for Starbreakers in this point.
Yeah, I'll be real. Dragonslayers just mogged all over Starbreakers there. Twisty with the like 3-second stare down to win the strike war, and then Striker guys just running in there and striking it past, I believe it was Logan, to secure the point. And now Dragonslayers aren't really giving Starbreakers any time to really accumulate their stacks anymore. Like last time, the first point ended with like 130 to 20 stacks on two people on the side of the Starbreakers, but this time both sides only have around 80, and with just the big fish value just kind of beating out any attempt to ramp up with the stacks on stacks. And Logan's also looking mighty low, which could put Starbreakers even further behind in the speed bar if they manage to secure this kill.
Yeah, Jay going for a 1v2 play on the flip there, and Dave does actually advance the core enough, finding Luca at a failed Sad Boys attempt, and that is now open. Versus Atlas, that can be quite strong. He only really has that strike shot. Logan finds a kill on the Twisty. No stacks reset, but this power play could be enough for the point, and there it is. Dave sending it down, not even needing to flip.
Yeah, a beautiful shot coming up from Dave, putting it right around Luke's strike box. And honestly, this is what I would like to see coming out more from Starbreakers. They've opted into this super high damage comp. I mean, Vice Amy Zentaro might be arguably one of the highest damage like competitive comps that you can play. And even though Big Fish is a little bit of survivability, what is it, like 200 stagger? I think it's less than 200 actually. It's just not that much to live off of. And even though they have an Atlas on the side of Dragonslayers, it should be very easy, especially without the speed for Starbreakers to kind of just choose one person. Either be the Kazan or the Kai to just take them out. But Logan is actually the one to fall, losing his stacks again, dying to the Atlab center. Not Atlas, that's a character, not the map. And Dave is forced to spend his flip defending the power play to get it out. But if Giga almost sending it in from the side of Dragonslayers, but again, the Kazan is getting so much value with the double size and two ultimates coming out from the side of Starbreakers. But it's still just Dragonslayers is able to keep possession, and it's just so scary for Starbreakers to get to get onto the other side.
Starbreakers is playing a comparatively much riskier game in the way their game plan is, because they're finding Dragonslayers is finding these kills on Logan with like the Black Hole or Giga Blasts, and as soon as that happens, Starbreakers is in a much worse position because it takes so long now to get those stacks back up. Forcing a flip out from Luke, this turret could mean something, especially with Deadeye. A flip is on the side of Jay, so if they can put themselves in a position to score here, they might be able to find something convincing here. A dash from Just Logan 2, dribbling off of the Atlas secondary, stunning Luke for an open shot. Very, very clean way to score that goal there.
Yeah, they might all be down like 1 to 2 levels, but Starbreakers, actually, they're all down almost I think 1 level to their share bar, but they're able to still show that if they can actually get the ball onto the field, they have so much pressure that they can actually score some of these points, even if it was looking very rough in the first set. Defending against the Zen Amy Vice, that's a lot of abilities that's coming towards Atlas's way, and it might not be enough for a defensive character like Atlas to even hold all of that offensive prowess. Oh my god, Logan just walked in the middle.
The ultimate ability every now and then, so if Luke does find good usages of it, not having it on cooldown there, but a failed Sad Boys angle actually does drop that second barrier. A good try from Luke. He's proven he's capable of it, but being able to get that in those like important scenarios when it could mean the difference between the open net and the closed one, especially on a character like Atlas, is when it's most important to be able to find them. So a very strong play coming in from Starbreakers. Dave loses the barrier and their ultimate, but he has the flip to work with. So if they can find some offense going on, especially with the Vice secondary, they might be able to close the set out.
Yeah, a good attempt from Logan. I mean, I've been watching this Logan guy, and he's teleporting quite a bit. It could be a little bit rough for him to try and goal, but let's be clear, that guy has already dodged a barrage with his expert teleportation eject button skills. So things could still be good for the side Starbreakers, even with Logan falling out. But he's forced to spend the flip against the strike hook against Kazan. A good defensive choice, especially considering how hard he could be defend these things on Vice. You're able to get it up the field, but no one's catching the core. Luke is able to just send the core up to Twisty and barely misses the shot, but unfortunately, Jay thought overcommitted to it and accidentally set the core in. Evening out the points and putting us at set point for both sides.
It looks bad, but you could just say that Jay was correcting the fate of the universe there, really. Making the point go in like it should have, so... Starbreakers has to really let that one slide.
Yeah, I mean, hey, not all bad. Still looking very good for Starbreakers. Well, all of them at 150 stacks, like you said. Once these points go long enough, they all get so fast. They're able to outrun everyone on the other team. Even Kai, unless he's hasting, because that guy's got Super Surge. That's pretty fast. But a scary situation for the Starbreakers, only losing one barrier, which is probably the best in that case scenario. But Twisty is so scary in front of the net with that big fish, with a hook and flip up. With Logan super low, one death for any side of the Starbreakers could just spell the loss of this set without their stacks anymore. But Logan's able to get it through. Unfortunately, blocked out by Ice Farmer, and Dave loses the first barrier to Twisty. But Logan's looking to get it back. The secondary falls from Atlas, but an unfortunate placed turret means they are not able to keep the possession on the side of Starbreakers. And I lied. I mean, they got it back in there. I mean. Zara Amy starts so much at the enemy team, but Twisty just manages to share it with a strike primary. Not much you could do there as the Vice with no abilities, forced to just take the 50-50 read against Kazan.
Right after Striker Guy flipped there, Dave did, I believe the point was so far in favor of Starbreakers as long as Dave got that, but it was all on dragonslayers 2 to make that one play count, and they were able to, closing out the set, making it 2-0 instead of 1-1. Very, very good for them. Coming to this draft, though, there are some very strong awakenings like Heavy Impact and Bulk Up that Starbreakers probably absolutely want to get. Bulk Up is coming on Amy, and Heavy Impact is denied away from Vice, but I think it was a bit greedy. I think Amy and Zentaro are just as good at using it, if not a little better in the forward role than Vice is.
Yeah,
but she does get spec training, which is fun.
Yeah, spec training is good on the Vice, but I will say that the Heavy Impact deny on the Kai probably does hurt a little bit. There's a lot of good awakenings that he could have pick up. Like, Spec would have been much more higher value for his ultimate, or even the aerials just let him run so much faster without the stacks. The Heavy Impact, not terrible, but still you get some value out of it on the secondary and sometimes ultimate, but not... I will say, I think, other than, of course, Spark of Leadership coming up for Tristan, I will say Kai's likely hurting the most from that draft out of everyone in this game.
I don't think it's actually that bad, because buffing the Giga Blast knockback is... probably, oh wow, an insane straight shot. That's a double barrier catching out there. And yeah, clean shot from Twisty. Predicting Dave would go right down to read that downward shot. But
low-key, that was Spark of Leadership to put it in there. Low-key,
it's true,
great power.
1% speed. What I'm thinking is Striker has increased Giga Blast knockback might actually find a very important kill for a stacks reset. Because those random kills are very, very helpful for Dragonslayers this game.
Yeah, any way to reset the stacks, kind of just turn the points in their favor, especially when the points go so, like, the sets go so long. And find a kill just like that. And 2 stacks are taken away from the side of Starbreakers. Dave is now forced to defend against all 3 members of Dragonslayers, all getting in on the offense. Opts to pop the flip to get it out. And actually managed to find a beautiful pass to the secondary. And Dave is able to defend the 1 versus 3, but dies themselves. And is now up 2 barriers for the side of Dragonslayers. And most importantly, no stacks are left for the side of Starbreakers. And this could just be yeah, I'll be honest, looking pretty terrible for the future of the set. But they are able to find the barrier, and Lucas forced to spend his own flip. And things are actually looking real scary for him now. Vice looking to get in with her ult. She popped it out. And I'm just throwing it out there. Spec kills.
That's true.
Every time.
Yeah, absolutely heroic clears coming in from Dave, but it's not looking good for him in this rest of this point. And all 3 members of Starbreakers dying just recently is so bad for their fate in the set. Logan dying once more, and this offense is looking unbreakable here. Though Jay does win a crucial strike war versus Twisty's hook there. Cutting it before, oh my god! Very scary here. Very, very scary defense with Kazan. Double size when you're just 2 measly ranged characters. However, they're getting it done. And as scary as this point has been, it's not quite over yet, so Starbreaker still does have a chance to make it work, really.
Yeah, and both Jay and Twisty falling there into the net of the Starbreakers, literally trying to make some magic happen with Kazan, but Striker Kai opting to blow himself up in the middle. I mean, this is just a magical point happening right now, and Twisty simply secures it. But yeah, I mean, they don't know what just happened there either. But the simple shot to the other end of the net secures it for the Dragonslayers. And checking the stacks right now, Jay is at a measly 2 stacks Only around 50 coming out from both Jay and Logan.
A relatively...
Even though we're on point 3, things are just the size, or not the size, the speed stacking is just not up right now for the Starbreakers. But Logan actually manages to find the double with a beautiful secondary and primary and ults out to get to save himself from dying. But things are still not looking great. Logan still only one evade left, and when you're playing without evade against Kazan Kai, I mean, you might just die in the process.
Way out.
That's looking from the game, but what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, they sent Luke in there to get that cinematic final goal, but a bit of a missed shot coming in, less experience aiming at the net like that, and Starbreakers now suddenly have a chance. I'm noticing that Logan has been staggered a lot more this game, despite their... You don't think it's going to happen versus Atlas and Kai, but he's been taking a lot of damage this game. He's been on that respawn timer very frequently, especially with the help of the black hole in the center of the map. Starbreakers, really all it takes for them is one missed strike war on the hook, one lapse in their possession, and this game can end just immediately. So they have to be very careful with the way they play this.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like a strong offense starting up for the Starbreakers, and it manages to slot it in right below the Atlas secondary, and it can catch a kill on Striker Kai in the process. I mean, managing to make it out of that point is actually so great for Starbreakers. Not only, well, I mean, it means they don't lose the game, of course, but a lot of stacks coming out from the Starbreakers, and likely going to start hitting 150 speed this point, and an early barrier take gives them just so much more time to work with and trying to get these speed stacks online.
Yeah.
It actually just secures a second barrier and looking to take on this point. If they can make it out to this point, I can actually see Starbreakers actually being able to take this set and possibly even the game if they can get a good draft out of this.
Yeah, they're figuring out how to play versus Luke when he walks up like that, being able to punish him in the midfield and take the barrier as a result. Due to Atlas's slower movement speed, especially with that strike shot instead of momentum boots. But they do lose their own barriers here. Logan does have a flip to work with on this offense. He gets a kill on Striker Kai, primary into flip, and finds a perfect puffy angle into the lower side of the net. Luke is not able to save that in time, holds the flip, and we're going to do a 0.5 all of a sudden here.
I mean, that was a beautiful flip from Logan. Not only finding a kill with the primary into the flip, and then a perfect shot to get it right past Luke. And things are actually looking very good. Other than the flip on Atlas, 150 stacks on basically the entire side of Starbreakers, and an early barrier find. Things are looking pretty up for them. And Striker Kai has just been taking so much damage recently. Like I said, the Vice Amy Zentaro is a very high damage comp, and Striker Kai doesn't really have any defensive awakenings to really kind of counteract this damage. And the mix is just looking super scary for Luke, even on Atlas, forced to spend the flip to get it out. And the AB mix manages to secure the barrier, and things are looking up for Starbreakers, but a huge res coming out from Luke. I thought that was like the best glitch swap or secondary of all time.
Yeah, that was a crazy
Luke manages to react to it. I mean, last second and save Striker Kai, and actually might be able to just take the game because of that.
Yeah, but they are very clustered up here for this defense. They do not want Starbreakers to find open space to work with here into Luke. They are able to get a breakaway here. This might be something from Dave. A Zen ult coming through, strike ward away by Luke. And now the side of Starbreakers has a lot less abilities to work with in this next offense. They're the side to defend with here. And into Twisty, it's very scary. They find out clears, and they're able to get it out of the way just for now. A glitch pop interrupting Twisty's possession for just a crucial moment. This could be it.
Yeah, looking so scary into this combo, but manages to get out one more time. But Kazan hook comes out, and it's just to flip it through the Kazan. And one pass to Jay, the strike was Atlas primary, and a beautiful collapse into the corner, managing to even beat out the Atlas secondary. Just wasn't quite early enough from Luke, and it looks like Starbreakers kind of robbed that set, being down 0-2, manages to come back and take us to set number 4.
Just a few points ago, it was looking like Luke was just going to walk up with flip and close the game out like nothing happened, but Starbreakers were able to wrench that one from the jaws of defeat, proving like, hey, this set 2 was just as close. We can win these sets, right? So they definitely don't want to let this be a 3-0 like it seems like it could have been. So Primetime and Twin Drive coming in for Amy and Zentaro here. Good CDR to work with. They have a lot more abilities. And Reptile Remedy coming in from Vice. I will say, yeah, a good deny, especially from Striker Kai. Because one thing I'm noticing here is that this Vice, Zentaro, Amy comp is getting a lot of that damage that it should be known for in that recent set. They're really figuring out how to get these numbers to matter.
Yeah, I will say Twisty opting for a third size awakening. Of course, something to scoff at, especially on the Kazan, with immediately paying off with the open primary, managing to secure a double barrier. But I won't lie. Yeah, they'll get the hook strike, but I think Spark was better. I mean, Kazan getting access to red core more easily it might just be what we need to get through these these high range characters, kind of hit it past them before they can react to it with anything. And I think 140 power would have been a pretty good job of doing that. I won't lie.
Forget that with the leadership, you're also giving your Atlas like 5 power too. That's important.
Oh, 5 power. But Striker Kai, unfortunately now, without any defensive awakenings, again, the Repertoire Remedy denied away, is kind of just beat up by Logan. Oh. But it doesn't matter, because when the Vice has to come back with all their abilities spent to kill Striker Kai, that's a triple size Kazan in your net with dash and hook. I mean, what can you do about it?
As soon as Dave lifted that strike, Twisty was in such a perfect spot to get a score there with the dash hook. It's so scary to make any mistake in the triple size Kazan like this. And a potential double barrier saved away by Jay, though they do have another chance of scoring here. Dragonslayers is not out of the play just yet. They still are running offense, and it could be convincing. Luke is coming in the flip, and is able to get a perfect pass to Twisty, who finds the shot behind the barrier. This could be it for the Starbreakers, though they are not out of the field just yet. Jay has flip coming in, they've spent their own, and it's kind of slowing down from here.
Yeah, looking to managing to keep the core up the field even more, but when you have the open net, it's a lot harder for Vice to make offensive plays. Ooh. And a great Giga angle. Dave was not expecting that, and managed to barely get past in the very last second. And Striker Kai manages to close out this game with, I wouldn't want to say convincing 3-0 in the last set, but yeah, the last set was a little rough. Triple size Kazan might just be a strong character with 8 goals scored from Twisty, showing that it might be good to maybe ban the Kazan on the side star.
Yeah, Starbreakers may have to change their idea with drafting in this next game if they want to maybe win this next one, because Twisty and Striker Kai on Kai and Kazan is a very dangerous duo to give to this team. It's complete comfort. Atlas, Kai, and Kazan is their go-to comp if nothing goes wrong. So if Starbreakers are letting that comp get to them, then it's possibly a mistake in the drafting. So they might have to change some strategies up. Maybe change a ban, maybe pick some of these characters to deny. We'll have to see.
I think the general idea of just do damage was actually going pretty well. Because whenever the side of Star Wars were able to secure a kill, I mean, points so usually immediately went in their favor, just kind of forcing Luke to defend alone with, while Striker Kai, I believe it was Striker Kai that was gunned down most of the time. But opting to just kind of shoot one of the players on the side of Dragonslayers, it really does a lot to hurt both their defensive and offensive capabilities, especially with how well Striker Kai and Twisty like to play off of each other. I think that if they can kind of hone in on this damage, possibly, I'm down for a good damage start and just kind of shoot these haste characters, you know, maybe let Era through, you know, and just kind of beat her to death before she can really get any value out of her beam there. Might be good for the side of Starworks to consider.
And it's worth keeping in mind that that was the pick of Dragonslayers too. So Starbreakers picked Demon Days, which we'll be seeing soon.
All right, and welcome back. Here we got game 2. We're on the Demon Dies with some similar ideas for the comps coming back with Luke no longer on the Alice, opting for the device because we have a Dead Eye Star. The other Awakening was timeless, but not a single person has opted to take it for this game. So we've got a chill high damage Dead Eye Demon Dies game coming up. Yeah,
and worth mentioning is that after a few technical difficulties,
just a few might not be the right word.
Swaghaver is coming in place of Just Logan too, so he'll be on the Rasmus for this game, and probably the next if it goes to game 3. Playing Amy Estelle and Rasmus too, by the way, I'll say, is a very strong triple-ranged comp, especially with the Estelle goalie. They'll have good kill confirm and good damage, and it's kind of being shown here. Twisty off the map, Striker Kai staggered in the enemy's net, and at least Luke's to take a 1v3, which is not very easy for us to win. I think a Deadeye start might really make this composition pop off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Estelle pickup here. I mean, she's able to walk up so much more on Demon Dies, and actually gets she can just these primaries kind of be able to cover like an entire lane by just her staying on the midfield is super strong. She's with the Deadeye, she can pick up a lot of damage throughout the course of the game. And like again, I mean, look at those primaries. Look at this, man. They are both Twisty and Striker Kai, both so low, and if they ever get staggered, I mean, the kill confirmed from the side of Starbreakers is going to be nothing to scoff at. With the Rasmus poke from Swaghaver, or really any combo from either Dave or Jay, kind of just be what they need to secure the kill and kind of just take the point and just kind of snowball these these kills to find the set. But that was a lot of damage to take it for swag.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Wow. Okay, a double trade coming in, 2v2 for a while now. I will say the tempo looks very much like it's in favor of Starbreakers, and there's a shot coming in from Dave, primary killing goalie, a cyber swipe onto Luke, claiming goal. I think the tempo's in their favor so much, I'm pretty sure because Kai is with an asynchronous pick with the side of Dragon Breaker's team, or Dragon Slayer's team, because Kai doesn't input much of damage on his own, with a character who's so good at confirming off of damage, at kill confirming like Zentaro. I think this might get remedied in later drafts as more speed is picked up and they pivot to a more core control style of team, but right now the Deadeye start is really showing its favor for Starbreakers.
Yeah, the Estelle Imi, they're able to get so much more value. I mean, the Vice, of course, is a very strong Deadeye pickup as well, but that damage is just not being put as much use as it is for the Starbreakers. They're able to just find so many kills, and every time they catch a kill, they're slowly making their way towards getting the entire point. But the Deadeye Vice sending Swaghammer all the way over to the other side of the map, and Twisty able to just find the kill that they've been looking for. But a great cyber strike coming out from Trey, and he's able to cross up the Vice. Again, these ranged goalies just have such low defensive capabilities that really anyone on the team of either side can be the person to get a point. And Starbreakers uses that to their advantage and takes the first set.
Yeah, and the hectic pace of the match really leaves these goalies without cooldowns quite frequently, so these strange breakaway opportunities, open shots in that are found a lot more frequently and convincingly. Super Surge coming in for Amy, which is very important because it's both a deny from Zentaro, and Super Surge or Deadeye Amy is a very strong knockback and damage composition character. Also important is Spec for Vice and Adren for Rasmus. Because Rasmus is the one usually confirming these kills with something like Hook, he's going to be getting the benefits from that awakening more frequently. So being able to convert these power plays into something more effectively and more frequently is probably very valuable for this team.
I mean, I don't even think that it being on Rasmus specifically is the thing. I mean, they're just finding so many kills in general. I think the adrenaline rush is going to be on almost the entire time if the Starburst is actually starting to go. But Twisty going for something very interesting with the Zentaro ult. A bit of a Zentaro losing his mind a little bit there. Happens to the best of us. Like, great strike primary coming out from Striker Guy, forcing them to clear down to Twisty, who is ready for it. And she just puts it in, taking the first point. For actually the first point that Dragonslayer was able to get this game.
Yeah, and hopefully there might be more to come for them because... Oh, that almost killed if Deadeye... If the Glitch Pop was buffered before the Cyber Swipe connected, it would have killed because then it would proc Deadeye. Very close, and Striker Kai is still low even despite getting that orb.
Wait, is that how Deadeye works? You can do that?
Yeah, if you do Glitch Pop before your dash connects, it procs Deadeye no matter what. It's pretty crazy.
Eating Ass Awakening.
Oh my god! You guys, it's happened there! Oh my god! Everyone is dead on Dragon Slayers. I think you get a kill confirmed. This point is as good as over. But they find that second barrier coming in. If Twisty can make a heroic play, that can put the point in their favor.
But even if we're a heroic play, I mean, let's be clear. The Dragon Slayers are on a timer right now with Twisty being staggered and Luke being low as well. All it takes is for one good glitch pop to come out from Jay, Vicious Security Care. And now they're forced to play the 2v3, but no fear coming out from Luke. Popping the flip to get down to Striker Kai. They're looking to score it themselves, but another kill is found on Striker Kai. Still no adrenaline proc starting from Rasmus. A little unfortunate, but they're not looking to level up this power play, trying to get to the other side of the map. But a beautiful primary coming out from Luke, and despite the main advantage on the side of Starbreakers, Luke still, with no fear, puts the core in, able to get it around the Estelle before that she even has a chance to flip.
Yeah, despite being in what seemed like a 2v3 for almost the entire point by the later ends there, they still found that second barrier, found the net, scoring on these players with who were spending their cooldowns to put them in that 2v3 in the first place. Yeah,
I mean, Starbreakers should start finding these kills a bit earlier or being faster to get these confirmed. They're able to get some time, but Luke is just finding so much value on the Vice, not even for the damage, but just kind of keeping the core up the field. Her secondary cooldown now being quite low after the patches. They were just put the teleports to good use, kind of just keep the position up long enough to stall out for a good opportunity where Starbreakers kind of don't really have any cooldowns left and they're able to get their own points, even if they feel a little bit random. Like, great Quangle actually coming out from Dave, take the point, and now that's our first adrenaline rush proc. I mean, things are not looking great for the Dragon Slayers anymore. Strikehammer kind of hunting for the next kill, then manages to find it with the hook, and Estelle primary from Dave just puts it in. I mean, that's kind of the explosive snowbally points that Starbreakers wants to see with the Adrenaline Rush and all the damage they managed to pick up last draft.
Yeah, it's looking like, honestly, even though they're down 2 points before that, now still only down 1, it feels like they've been controlling the tempo even of this set despite losing these goals. It's really like up to Dragonslayers to find these sudden breakaways and heroic plays to score their points. And if you're rooting for them, you definitely don't want that to be the only way they can win the game.
So a great double barrier damage coming off from Twisty. Manages to get 2 barriers back, but the Sire manages to also steal 2 barriers away, and now we're playing on open net, which is quite scary for both teams, but huge damage coming out the side of Starbreakers. Luke is still just teleporting away, grabbing an orb to kind of reset the tempo, but a great strike primary coming out from Twisty, mixing up Dave, and mentions despite the big explosive damage that almost kind of stole that round for the Starbreakers, Twisty's able to secure it for the side of the Dragonslayers.
They're finding very effective punishes on the downtime of Starbreakers. Because they're using these abilities so much to damage and keep that momentum up, as soon as there is that slight crack in their armor, Twisty especially is very, very good at finding those little chances to make it work, really. An explosive entrance coming in on Zentaro, too. Those dash ranges might very much make it easier for her to find these clean goals without possession.
Yeah, but a lot of great awakenings coming out from everyone here. Like even something that you might find like a bit more interesting on playoffs, like an orb up here on Swaghammer. I mean, it's a lot more energy coming out from the side of Jesus Christ. Striker Kai just got executed.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, like I thought it was like 3 Deadeye procs in a row, just instantly taking Striker Kai off the map. But the Dragons just did manage to stall enough time, only losing 1 barrier in the process of the power play. But again, this damage is just, the Starbreakers are just not letting up, trying to find kill after kill, setting up each one after another, just kind of pushing their advantage as far as they can. But a straight strike from both Luke and Striker Kai manages to take the point, even if Twisty's looking low. But a Zentaro passive is up. Might be looking for a hero play, an ambitious passive into dash versus Twisty, but manages to find the score still with a great strike primary. And if that's what the Dragons are kind of looking for. It's kind of looking to stall out long enough so that they can find the opportunities. That even though that Starbreakers is spending so many abilities on these kills. I mean, oh my god, on these kills, they're just kind of looking to stall out time. Just kind of left Twisty, kind of open up the melee goalie.
Yeah, Dave doesn't look very comfortable defending versus Twisty's like strike primary mix-ups. I think every single one has went in for Twisty. So if that can start evening out maybe a bit, the chances kind of dwindle, then it'll work for them. Swaghammer very, very cleanly saves that which it would otherwise go in. This could be a very strong point for them, turning that away from a sudden lost goal.
Wait, Swaghammer kind of serving there now. That strike was kind of beast right there. A barely didn't put it, but a great angle coming off the save. Starbreakers, the Swaghammer does not want to lose this point after his beautiful save earlier, but Luke does manage to secure the Vice teleporting in is just not too much for the offensive duo, or the offensive picks from the side of Starbreakers to defend.
That's right, yeah, it's again their downtime, finding these characters without cooldowns, able to punish them for it, and that point really started out very effectively for Dragonslayers because they found that instant Vice ult kill too. It put the point in their favor for almost the rest of it, because really what Starbreakers needs is that extra tempo. If they lose their tempo for even a moment, the regen timers are coming back up, the cooldowns are gone. They're put in a much worse spot if they miss, if they make that blunder. Yeah, but it doesn't look like they've been doing so at this point, at least. Very effective double barrier taken. Vice now doesn't have an ult to work with.
Yeah, but a great double barrier coming out from Luke, putting the Vice to work, but Swaghammer manages to pull it out with a great hook. Is looking to, wow, I cannot believe that secondary combo from the 2 forwards of Starbreakers, and 2 Dren procs have come out from Swaghammer now at this point. Is looking to get some value out of it, kind of striking in Luke's face. Opting to pop the flip, unfortunately loses to the Amy turret. I mean, that's the kind of points that you want to see coming out from Starbreakers. 2 Adren procs back to back. Swaghammer got so much time with the insane speed boost and all his cooldowns back after that. And if they're looking to just kind of find these random kills, which is not hard for the Starbreakers to find with all their damage awakenings, but a ambitious Vice ult coming out from Luke. Yeah, sad boys. Hell yeah. But,
Yeah.
what great strikes defensively coming out. Layered it perfectly, barely saved that, and a great strike round from Striker Kai, and they're looking to take this set before Starburgers have any chance to find any more kills.
Yeah, but Swaghammer with a good delay on the barrier, finding an open angle where otherwise it would not have been. And they're in a kind of scary defensive situation here, but they have the resources to make it work as long as they are playing it carefully. But Striker Kai finds a clean breakaway strike in the barrage, beating Dave's attempt at Mistel Primary there, and sending this to a set 4.
Yeah, I mean, a great opportunity found from Striker Kai, kind of putting it in before any more damage could be racked up on his teammates, and is now... I mean, Luke was the MVP that set. Let's be clear. Of course, not just in game, but also just so much value is being found from these Vice teleports, kind of just stealing these points away, and the extra offense that the Vice is providing is really what is kind of pushing these points over the edge and just managing to kind of secure these points for the side of Dragon Slayers.
The draft has definitely simmered down for Starbreakers. They got some more tame pickups, like a first Spark of Strength, a Reptile Remedy, while Starbreakers found a 1-2 punch Zentaro, and they have Spark scaling going on, and they also have, notably, an extra specialized training Vice goalie. If Luke does find this downtime to be able to use his abilities, he can find some incredible ults coming in. However, that downtime is exactly what Starbreakers are looking to stuff out as they take these 2 barriers, send these health bars low, and they're running some very threatening offense.
But Twisty still mentioned to find that out and kind of just dashing to get it to the other side. It's kind of just forcing Dave out, away from the barrier. Managing to secure a strong strike to get the second barrier, but Swaghammer's looking for an opportunity to kill found on Luke, but manages to come back because of the recovery drone. A lot of damage to on Strike Guy, but a beautiful secondary this redirect strike coming up from Twisty, kind of to make sure that point doesn't go on any longer. And Dave was just not fast enough with the secondary, unfortunately redirecting it into his own, or not being early enough to get it out of the goal.
Yeah, very fast too. Just the travel time on the Estelle primary or secondary isn't enough, as it was too far away and it had more distance to travel in the first place. Though they're not letting that get to them here, as they start this point off strongly with damage. They're getting some barriers here. Double barrier found as Luke does not want to flip, and a cyber swipe is Luke still does not want to spend that flip. They're able to get that point very cleanly, 15 seconds, as Dragon Slayers too might want to just let that one slide and keep momentum up in some other way.
Yeah, I mean, the Twin Drive, Super Surge, and Deadeye Amy finding a lot of value at that point. I mean, Jay's ability to kind of just teleport from one side of the map to the other is putting a lot of stress on the side of Dragon Slayers. A great hook flip seen from Swaghammer, not only getting the adrenaline proc, but more importantly, I think, these Prizefighter stacks on Swaghammer could be huge, especially after the Rasmus damage nerfs. He could use a little bit of help in the Awakening department to kind of help rack up this damage. And if he can get one more Prizefighter stack, I think that the Starbreakers might be able to steal the rest of the set away.
Yeah, but even despite that power play, Starbreakers was the one to lose their final barrier, and Luke is not giving these easy strike wars to Swaghammer. Twisty finds a very clean wait into primary flip. Insta flip, Dave is on strike cooldown and is not able to save that.
Zentaro is so cool. Like, can we get a replay on that in the
I don't think we can actually. Oh, in the post game? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for that.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, the Centauro character, like, he just has so much that you have to track for a goalie, and then once you forget about one thing, he's just got another up his sleeve, and Twisty opted for the instant flip with the passive, turning that point, but Striker Kai is kind of being hunted down by the side of Starbreakers right now. Swaghammer looking for the hook to kill, unfortunately missed, but now no barriers up for the side of the Starbreakers, and this could be bad for them, but they managed to find a kill and keep this point going, but they are still 1 point away from just losing the entire series. They have to play this point carefully, as Luke has flipped and could just put it in with this secondary. But a beautiful defense coming off from Dave, and manages to save the point, but a great Giga actually managed to steal position and get it back down to Twisty. It's the opposite side of that, and it's now left the game on to better things. And Dragon Slayers has taken home this series 2-0.
Very impressive looking at the scoreboard that Dragon Slayers 2 is able to defeat Starbreakers with only 2 of their players on the roster fielded.
Yeah, I mean, very impressive. I mean, Twisty playing... Twisty managed to appear on the scoreboard.
Oh, okay.
Good for her. Yeah, I thought it was going to be up too. Yeah, just look at the damage difference coming out of these teams. Everyone on the side of the Starbreakers managed to come out with 20k plus damage, 25k or more on both Dave and Jay, while both Twisty and Striker Kai especially being a lot much lower than the department, kind of just showing how much more important damage was from one side over the other. Kind of just Dragonslayers kind of just forced to spend like a lot of time just kind of evading, looking for like small opportunities that they can find whenever the cooldown's down for the side of Starbreakers.
That's right, and I think they dedicated Swaghammer so heavily to finding KOs and didn't get enough of a reward off of it. Drafting for things like Adrenaline Rush and Prize Fighter, I don't think they found enough confirms from him specifically to make that really pop, as I believe he was using his hook a lot for core control and things like that, and as a result did not have those cooldowns to finish off the kills. So there's a lot of time that Dragonslayers 2 was spending with their players staggered but not quite KO'd, and because of that, they were able to make those heroic plays on the net and find those breakaways to close out the series.
Yeah, I will say I think it was still a pretty, despite it. Was that 3-0 in sets, or was it?
No. Starbreakers won the first set.
Okay, wait, hold on. They have 6 goals. What am I talking? Actually, no, it's possible. It's possible to go 3-0 and get 6 goals, but despite Dragonslayers winning 2-0 in games, I do think it was actually pretty good performance coming out from Starbreakers. I mean, whenever they managed to get the damage ball rolling, it was rolling very hard. So if they're able to kind of play this gameplay more consistent, I'm expecting to see a lot more success coming out from them in the later weeks.
Absolutely, they found themselves a strong composition in the form of Amy Estelle Erasmus. I think that's a very good comp, and if they can really get that down and allow it out and pilot it effectively as possible, I think they have a very, very strong season ahead of them.